snap. Oh. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They gave the controls to the wrong son of a gun. That's right, man. It's your boy K Witch, man, your mama's number one draft pick. And I got my guy Bobby Blunts here. We are in the building for another edition of Head Kicks and Haymakers. So I am going to do the right thing, and I'm going to go ahead and hit that intro, boy. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again another Wednesday. Your boy K Wit and my guy, friend of a friend who actually has become like my missing uncle. Shout out to Mr. Bobby Blunts out there in Vegas. Bobby, what's going on with you, bro? How you doing?
Oh, doing good. Can't complain at all. Getting ready for this card. Can't wait for it. And been just kind of catching up on football and stuff. So this kind of flew under the radar, and I'm glad it's finally here.
Right, man. I agree with you. Shout out to everybody who's been taking the week to focus on the first full week of fantasy football. Shout out to all my Steelers fans. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm a big Steelers fan. We got to put a little we got to hit that button for that one. But you know, as we've been paying attention to football, somehow, some way, UFC 306, O'Malley Davishvili in Vegas, hosted or promoted specially by Riyadh Season. One time for my guy, our friend of the show, Turkey Al Sheikh. Salam alaikum to all my brothers out there. You know, it's finally here. What I mean, even though I feel like you know, Barkins would say there were so many other really big UFC events, pay-per-views going on this year so far. This is one of the ones that I think we were looking forward to. Like when it was finally made, to look at the card itself, to look at what's happening, not just because of the card, but as someone who's out there on the West Coast, bro. Let's talk about the biggest elephant in the room so far, right? So what are they going to do in the Sphere, the biggest, largest, most interactive venue ever to hold a UFC event? Like, I know you've seen it, you have to have driven around it. Is there some type of excitement out there in the city just for the sake of it being in the Sphere, or is it just forget it? It's Vegas, it's live, it's what's going to happen?
I mean, I think that's mainly how they're looking at it. It's definitely been, you know, that's kind of how it's been advertised. Is that's the main thing you're tuning in for. It almost feels like the fights have kind of been in the background, you know, like they're just like, oh, you know, O'Malley, Marab, we're gonna do the trilogy. Oh, we got Diego and Ortega, and you know, I think when it first came out, a lot of people are kind of disappointed with the you know, card and stuff, but I think they got a little bit too caught up in like what the idea was. And you know, it's kind of been explained they're going to be doing this like 90-minute movie during the main card, and it will kind of play when the first fight on the main card happens, and then it's kind of like an in between. So it'll be interesting to see how they show it to like the people viewing it that aren't live and actually there. But you know, for me, that is like probably more than 50% of the intrigue on this card, because it's going to be different. You know, the UFC doesn't go outside their box that much. And this is, you know, they are really going outside their wheelhouse. You know, they're offering it in 1080p finally. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it works out after, especially because, you know, if it's something that dope, you know, you'll be able to rewatch it and stuff too. So
Right. The rewatchability, you know, to the playback ability, especially if you got something like you know, ESPN Plus, where you get access to all of the UFC events, all the pay-per-views, and so on and so forth. Like something like that is probably going to be gigantic when they go, Welcome to the Sphere. It's UFC Noche. And then they hit the button. Somehow, some way, I think that they and I'm not going to be surprised if they figure out a way to incorporate what we will see as fans at home, along with what the people in the Sphere get to kind of interact with, and kind of make it one of those things where, like, even though we're not there, we feel like we're there. That's going to be a big deal. And I'm interested to see it. I think one of those episodes we talked. I told y'all I am not a YouTube fan. No. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not a YouTube fan, but I watched that YouTube concert, or like at least 15 minutes of that YouTube concert in the Sphere, and I was like, "What the hell is this? It's the Matrix and a concert." Speaking of people inside of the Matrix, we're waiting. Okay, we'll wait on Bakins, but I was blown away by what was going on. Just for a U2 concert, and Bono was going crazy. The band, the lights, the sounds, the imagery, and I can't imagine what they will put together for the UFC to kind of, piece that together. Plus, at the same time, Turkey Al Sheikh is involved, and when it's a spectacle anytime he's involved, just like they did in LA when they threw him, they threw him like 2 belts and a freaking trophy, and he gave away a car at the same time. I think that was pretty dope. So I'm interested to see what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you noticed, but our guy Nick Bakins, fresh off of a coaching endeavor, has showed up. Nick, what's going on, bro? How you feeling tonight?
No, I wasn't coaching. I wasn't coaching. I wasn't. I wasn't coaching. I was just watching, just being a dad, watching the team. They got stomped out.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Hey, are we good? Am I lagging right now?
Yeah, you're lagging.
My internet's off.
Just a little bit.
Hold on.
Yeah, just a tad there.
All right,
but yeah, bro.
Right, hold on.
Okay, you want wait? Tell me.
Are we good right now? Are we good now?
Now you seem okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are we good right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
You look like you look on time now.
Right,
like
we're good.
We're good.
We're good. All right.
but yeah, bro.
Okay, perfect. It is taking a minute. We was. Oh yeah, the Noche, the Sphere. What's your guys' feelings on the Sphere? So just like I know, Bobby, you're ecstatic. You want to see the visual of what it's going to be.
Yeah, Dana actually broke it down last night a little bit. Like he was dropping like little hints, and he was claiming that apparently there's 2 production trucks there, or 2 extra production trucks. And their job is apparently to make the experience that they're witnessing live to translate onto television. And then he had his drop the mic moment of, my goal is to win an Oscar, a Grammy, and some other fucking award. So, they're, it sounds like, they're using Turkey's money for sure. Because, I mean, he said he brought him in when he was like already 20 million over or something. So it's I'm excited to see what it's going to be. You never kind of had that anticipation really, compared to what you're getting as far as kind of the production value and stuff. And you're just kind of hoping the fights deliver, This, it's like kind of, I'm just going to be strapped in for the ride. And I'm assuming the money will be well spent. Maybe it flops, and that'll be a whole thing. But
like he said, we won't know till we know, till it's done and over with.
Dana seemed pretty at peace with it. Like they were trying to bait him into questions to go off, and he wasn't taking any bait. He's like, I could care right now. He's like, if it ain't about Saturday, don't ask me about it. So. I think the way they built the card is perfect. The early prelims and the prelims will pretty much be all the young and up and coming Mexican fighters. So, and then they'll kick off into the main card. I understand why Rojas Jr. is opening on the card. I really wish he was opening on the main card, but
or at least be the main event prelim. The main event prelim.
I think with what they're doing, like because he's known and he has a name, they want to bring someone in to give it, that oomph, and then they can roll out. And I think the matchmaking definitely did his job here, and these fights are going to be entertaining as shit.
Before we break down this card, do you think like, because we know like it's going to be this visual thing, and there's literally a movie, I guess, so hopefully we'll be able to watch this movie between the matches. But do you think like, because the way it's being explained is like things are going to change as the fight goes on, do you think that's going to fuck up a fighter's like feeling? Because like fighters are creatures of habit. Like every athlete's kind of a creature of a habit, like or you just think they're going to be so locked in they're not going to even notice?
First off, I think that they're going to use the sphere to this full extent, but I want to compare this to something. And we're all sports guys, because I know you're a sports guy. Bobby, I know you're a sports guy. Big shouts out to my brother Jay. I think he's watching on our Instagram. I want to compare it to when they had the NCAA championship, like in Dallas that time, and the depth perception from the basketball goal, like threw everybody off for like 2 minutes, and everybody was shooting bricks, and it looked weird from a visual perspective. But then when they caught up to it, the game became electrifying. I think this is going to be something very similar to where, for like the first couple of minutes, when the bell rings, we're going to be like, what are they doing? They look weird. But the visual aspect that they may include on like a split screen or, like a side scroller is going to be probably something that we're going to be intrigued by. It's in my mind, what we want to see are good fights. First of all, that's the first part. As UFC fans, we're looking at the card, and Bobby mentioned it. For this to be a UFC Noche type fight, weekend. They got some really young and up and coming names on this card. A lot of Hispanic fighters, a lot of Mexican fighters. Rosas Jr. opening the card all the way like in the early prelims. Come on, maybe we could have moved him up just to excite us some more, especially him being so young and up and coming. But then when we get to the main and we get to like Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez, Grasso, Shevchenko 3, and of course the main event, like by that time, I think the allure of whatever's going on is going to wear off, and we're going to be like, all right, let's just see the fights. You know what I mean? So I think it's really just going to take, maybe the first two for us to go, okay, we get it. We see what they're doing.
I just meant like us as fans, but every fighter in there is going to feel that difference. I feel like that's
that too, because it's going to probably look aesthetically different from them. They're used to looking at the cage and fans around the cage, but the sphere is made so that the fans are only going to be on one side, if I'm not mistaken. So that may have a minute to wear on them. It's like having half of the audience in another direction, but we'll see. I think after that first one, the fighters get out there, they get to walk around before the fights, they get to feel the mat, touch the mat, move around a little bit, and they'll acclimate themselves properly. But I'm still excited to see what's going to happen this weekend.
It is a smaller card too. There's only I think 12 fights on this card, so it's a smaller card.
That is because of the production that is involved in it. Like that's why they limited the amount of it. And to my knowledge, from what Dana was explaining, like the main 90-minute movie that he was talking about, that is primarily on the main card. So it sounds like they'll kind of like warm it up and like show it what it can do. The most interesting thing, it sounded like when people win, it was kind of bizarre. I was explaining it, but he was talking about how like it's going to show like multiple worlds or something, and like past, present, and future. So I mean, there's going to be a ton of really dope visuals. I mean, for those who indulge in psychedelics, I'd recommend probably keeping some handy.
They also said that when you sit in the chair, you're going to be able to feel like how hard a hit was. Like, I mean,
So,
like,
that's a limited
that's
amount of
gonna be
seats
pretty cool.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
kind of like
limited.
those
I thought it was like a
movies.
whole sphere.
Yeah, no, I think that's like the ones that were like buku crazy dollars. Because
Okay.
he was saying like it's certain areas and it goes on certain sections, and then he started like going off about like the Easter eggs and stuff, which sparked a lot of like funny memes. Like I saw one like saying like he's gonna have something underneath the seat, and like whoever has that like gets the apex when he retires. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
pretty kind of spot on with
Awesome.
the wackiness he was saying.
His favorite guy, his favorite guy, Oscar De La Hoya, is gonna find the little golden ticket. You know?
Oh my God! Not Oscar.
So that's like the funnier part, to shit on the Canelo, and like this is kind of like a pretty big dick play from Turkey if you look at it, because the only reason Oscar is getting in there is because he's on Turkey's ticket block. You know damn well Dana White ain't giving him a ticket.
Hell no.
And
like allegedly our guy Ariel Hawani's invited.
Wow.
I believe
by Turkey.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a clip when on Ariel's show. Back then it's circling around the internet again. Turkey Al Sheikh told Ariel, "Hey, it's time for you and Dana to be friends. It's time for you." He's like, "You're gonna come to the Sphere show under my name. I'm gonna get you and Dana to be friends again." And Ariel said, "Hey, I have no ill will. I can do that. You can have a tough time with him more than you are with me." I mean, Ariel, hey, how much money do you think? So, first of all, how much money? That's two people Dana hates more in life. There's Oscar De La Hoya and Ariel Hawani.
Normally, I'd say there's no way it's going to happen, but the fact that Oscar is there, and when Dana said it, I love how he like blew it off like it was no big deal. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's just on his he's on his ticket block." Like it, that was but a shifty way to shit on Canelo. And be like, "Hey, you don't want to take my fight? We'll try to devalue yours." I don't think that's going to work. These are two separate events. But I thought Ariel just got a ticket. I did not know he was there as a guest at Turkey.
Yeah, it was on the MMA Hour. He said like Turkey Al Sheikh invited him. He said,
I remember when that happened. But that's wild.
In my mind, but Turkey Al Sheikh is taking a play from his own playbook in boxing. In boxing, he has been taking, promoters who normally don't talk to each other, promoters who normally don't get together, and he's been sitting them down and saying, "Hey, this could be done. How much?"
That's because we can hate each other, but everything's all green with. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
such a great point, though.
That was exactly my point. The answer to the question is, how much will it take? And Turkey Al Sheikh is like, two Bugatti, three.
Yeah. He got all the money in the world. He can do anything he wants.
And Ariel has been like the live show he's promoting this Friday. He's been trolling heavy on the socials with that. Like all with like throwbacks to like shit Dana said about him. So that you just add another like anticipation fact. I mean that's nothing we'll visually see, but that's a funny thing to know.
It'll be interesting if that happens.
Just wait till they start panning around the ring and they go, "Hey, look, Oscar De La Hoya's here." And he go,
"No." So hold on. So, like that's one thing. If Ariel on the broadcast.
Oh yeah.
Like if the camera like pans to him and it shows like Ariel Hawani, that is all Turkey Al Sheikh.
I'm sure.
Same with Oscar. What's the chances you think they show Oscar or Ariel?
I would put them at like 50-1. Like because like in my mind, just because they're there, like think about it, there's probably multiple people that like Dana White like does not prefer to talk to that like go to the events. So like I don't think that like just because like I know he ain't talking to Oscar, Like, like that's for sure. But yeah, no, that's he was saying the guest list was looking. There were a lot of celebrities attending, so this might be like a Super Bowl like celebrity attendance
It
and
seems
stuff.
it seems like it in the every fighter wanted to be on this card. I felt like it was like everybody wanted to be on 300, and then the Sphere card, and it is headlined by none other than Sean O'Malley versus Merab. Let's look into this card and we'll work bottom to top. It opens up the main card here with Ronaldo Rodriguez versus taking on O'Day Osborne. Ronaldo is 16-2. He is the dog at -140. O'Day Osborne is 12-7. He's the dog at +110. So, Bobby, who do you like here?
Who'd you say the dog was?
O'Day. Or I'm sorry, yeah, O'Day Osborne is the dog at +110. Rodriguez is undefeated, it looks like, here in the UFC. So,
at first I thought you said
I probably did. I screwed that up,
and I was like, oh wow, that's pretty surprising.
O'Day coming off a 2-fight losing streak.
Yeah. That should still be a fairly, competitive fight. I think it's a fairly good fight to open up for the main card to really get going with like the whole movie and stuff. So I mean that's going to be like kind of fascinating because they'll be the first ones like coming out to it. So who knows what that will add to it, but I would be out of my mind to not think that would not like shoot mad passion into Rodriguez walking out there.
Yeah.
So just for that alone, I will be picking him.
Real quick before Wick goes, if Dana's smart though, I would sprinkle that movie stuff in like in the early parts of the prelim. And then if people want to finish watching that movie, guess what they got to do? They got to buy the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? That's just smart business. You know what I mean? Like, I saw half the movie. I want to see the rest of the half.
Yeah. Bait them into getting it, right? Bait them into buying ESPN Plus or something, right?
That's they'll probably tease it, but what he made it sound like the normal like fight promo bullshit, like when they announce the fight. They'll show the two fighters come up and then they'll like be all of them talking. So there'll be none of that shit. That is going to be when they play the movie. And it will pretty much when the first part of the movie ends. I don't know if the two guys will be in the cage or it's going to show them walking out.
I'd like to see the walkouts because I want to see like what that music looks like and the walkout looks like.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
And so, but I have a feeling somehow they'll maybe show us the walkout and then somehow still blend on our screen or something what you're seeing on that screen. So again, that like I was talking to Whit before you jumped on, that is the most enticing thing about the card is what it's going to look like because they never do anything different. And
no, it's same format no matter different. What.
Yeah. And my last point on this, why couldn't this been 300? Couldn't you imagine imagine if 300, like I understand like everything they're doing with Noche, but like in my opinion this is kind of what 300 was advertised on before the card got made,
yeah,
and now it's like
special. I like I agree with what you're saying,
and this feels special regardless of what you think of the entire like main card and stuff, but the more I'm hearing it and, watching the events and stuff, I think it's coming together pretty nice. So I'm excited.
What about you?
I got Rodriguez in that one.
Who you like winning this one?
My normal thing, man. Big shouts out to one of my favorite websites to go look at information on, Tapology.com, the Fight Center. So what I did was I did a little clicking, you know what I'm saying? Ronaldo Rodriguez, man, right now it's looking like this is where he's going to make his mark on the world of MMA. Of course, he was in a smaller promotion The Contender Series, of course, we got a chance to see him in that. But I mean, he's been winning, and I'm talking about winning decisively. Rear naked choke here, doctor stoppage there, guillotine there, split decision. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does on the big stage. Of course, when you put him in the mix with, the idea of the sphere and the majesticness of what it like he wants. I think this is one of those ones where someone like himself, he wants to make a name. Of course, I mean, all these guys want to make a name, but making a name in the sphere, first time ever, I think this is where he puts his stamp on it. I'm really looking at my guy Ronaldo for the first one, and Ode Osborne. First of all, let me say this too. Osborne's no slouch, but I feel like the what I've seen or what I've really been reading and looking at as far as the research is concerned, it's just a little bit of an overmatched. He's just a little overmatched, or Ode is a little undermatched for this one as far as like skill set is concerned. Ode knock him out, put his hands on him, got you. But everywhere else, it looks like this is where Ronaldo can win the fight. So I like Ronaldo in this one.
They're giving him no easy fights.
No.
At all. To say it bluntly.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
I mean, granted, that's the UFC, but like you're kind of feeling this one.
The next fight we got is a couple lightweights. Daniel Zubelherber. He is 15-1. He's won his last 3 fights. He is the favorite here at -235. He is taking on Esteban Ribovics, who is the dog on this card at +190. Daniel Zubelherber is 15-1. Esteban is 13-1. The last time I saw Esteban fight, he put out Terrence McKinney real quick, real fast. The last time out in St. Louis. But who you like here, Daniel or Esteban?
All right, so this is one of the ones where I gotta go El Gringo Esteban Ribiquez. Okay, this Alpha team on this one. Got a shout out to them, of course, because one of the best teams in MMA. Whenever you look into what fighters, where fighters are affiliated with, right now I'm thinking this one may not last very long because of the fighting, the strength of both fighters. But I'm looking at El Gringo for the win on this one. I mean, it's kind of set up for him to be, it's the striker and the grappler. Once again, we see this matchup come up many a time in UFC, especially in young fighters' careers. But for me, young fighters, guys who don't know no better, who don't train to do nothing different, this is where they accidentally slip up and knock a guy out in the first round. And I'm thinking Esteban is going to do that on this one. So I'm rocking with him for his big debut out here in the sphere.
What about you, Bobby?
What did you say the line was again?
The line is -235 for Daniel, and the dog is Esteban at +190.
El Gringo.
Damn, that's very interesting odds.
It's weird that it's like that because he's actually I think it's a little more evenly matched, especially
it is pretty even. I mean, both guys on Esteban's won his last 2, Daniel's won his last 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty close line, personally. So, I mean, if I was betting on it, I'd probably take the underdog, like just for the money aspect of it. But betting it straight up, for some reason, I'm just leaning Daniel. I'm not even too sure why. It just feels like one of those weird fights where, you're not sure what you're going to get. And, it personally, I really don't have someone like I prefer to win. So, like, those are kind of the best fights when you're just kind of watching 2 guys go at it. So, again, going back to this movie, it's going to be act 2 of it. So, like, there's this, unknown factor that like equates to all these fights that we won't even see how it affects it until then. So for me, I think Daniel will get it done, but I have a feeling it's going to be a war that will probably end up going the full 15 minutes.
Yeah. Last time out, Esteban got McKinney out, and I was like, "Ooh, that guy's a dog," and
I know it's coming.
He is my dog on the card, baby. That's right. At plus 180 or 190, I said, Esteban gets it done. He's my dog on the card. I think he can get it done. Probably can get a finish. I mean, I saw him finish Terrence McKinney. I think maybe he can get it done, but nonetheless, he wins. Plus 190. He's my dog on the card, baby. That's where we're going.
Yeah, I'd take that action.
I want to run with it. Bobby said the word for me that this is a weird matchup. Even though the line, you brought it up, Bobby, even though the line says one thing, just looking at the stats, looking at some of the numbers, read us through some of the stuff that they've gone through before. This looks a little more evenly matched than what they're saying. So, and I'm with Botkins on this one, rolling with the dog. Let's see what happens when El Gringo gets into the ring this weekend.
Let's get into this. Is my favorite fight on the card. I was so excited for this fight at UFC. What was it? 303 a couple months ago. And we didn't get it. It was a short notice fight. Now we have full camps. Both guys coming in pretty much full camps, knowing damn well this is what's going to happen. It's a featherweight fight. We got one of the top ranked guys in Brian Ortega, who is 16-3. He's only lost to Volk, Max, and I don't even know who the other. The other loss was Yair when he got injured. So those three, and then he comes back and beats Yair earlier this year. And then you got the fast and upcoming riser and Diego Lopez, who just absolutely finishes everybody. The only loss in the UFC is he took Mozar Evzalov in a short notice fight and damn near beat him. Damn near beat him. I am a super excited. This is a fight of the night for me, man. This is the fight I want to see. I think it's going to be great. Bobby, I'll start with you. Who you like and why? This is my anticipated fight. We've gotten so many of these, like the old head versus the new up and comer.
Right. Yep.
Like I feel like that has been the theme of 2024.
I think there are two fights in this fight. The first fight, I think, starts on the
Is it Ortega versus the scale?
Yeah. He has already talked about wanting, like this week, about wanting to move up or whatever.
He said if there's nothing left, he wants to go to 155.
Yeah. So how confident are you that Diego is not going to get a call on 4 a.m. Friday morning saying, "Hey, can we move this to a catchweight?"
Yeah, I'm 100% confident that he takes it no matter what. I mean, we saw him fight.
He will. But it's and I'm not trying to like shit on Ortega or anything, but the way that happened. I mean, granted, that fight was on short notice, so he was never really in shape to make the weight in the first place. So I might be being far too critical. But it is my most anticipated fight on the card. But it is also my most anticipated fight on the weigh-in show because what happened last time. So, all that being said, I think it's going to really come down to what condition Ortega was, able to maintain. It seemed like, in the Yair fight, he really had no injuries or very lack of. Am I frozen or is Bakken?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
So, currently right now, knowing that this is going to be like a 15-minute war and a 15-minute fight, Diego really puts that pressure on him. The grappling is going to be very interesting. Like, I would have no problem if this entire fight was contested on the mat at all. But,
it may not even be on the mat. Who was it? Just felt like we just watched two guys that. Oh, Saturday night's fight. It was Sean Brady and Burns. Like they barely went to the mat, because it was just, and you're like, they're both really good on it.
Yeah, I mean, Gilbert's best strike in that fight was a nut shot, but to each his own. I do think that possibly we get a really standing war because maybe the grappling just cancels each other out and they'll go at it. So as of today, I'm picking Diego Lopez for that fight. I know we've seen a lot of the young guns coming in and the old buck kind of saying, hey, young man, wait your turn. But Lopez is just so crazy. That can probably be his biggest negative in this fight is he likes to get a little wild, and Ortega could easily go for something slick with a submission, but I'm pretty confident that he is pretty pumped up for this fight. The only thing I have in question is I know he's going to be coaching the next match. So
yeah, he said the plan is to win and then change and then get out there for.
Is he doing too much? Will that wear off? But with everything I saw him doing on Tough, he was putting that show on his back coaching wise. So I really got no reason to doubt him. So I'm going Diego here.
Whit.
Oh man, so I think Bobby stole a little bit of my thunder when we talked about the keywords of the day, which are like the old guard. I think this is one of those ones, man. We got to keep our eyes out for this being a stalemate on the ground, so they end up striking the whole time. Points wise, man. Points wise. If it turns out that somehow, some way that they are standing and it's going the distance, so to speak, I want to say T City. My heart. You know what I'm saying? Every week I go through this. Like, well, my heart is on T City. I've seen him go through some wars. We saw him, of course, with Max Holloway, where Max was in the ring teaching him. All right, put your hand here, guard this. But the point was after that, we saw him implement exactly what Max was talking about. It looked different.
This close to being featherweight champion.
It's close to being featherweight champion. So he's not a slouch. But Bobby did mention it, and I want to bring that up too. Like the fights start before they get in the ring, and they've mentioned it before. I forgot what I was watching it, and some UFC show, one of those ESPNs they show on like 2 or 3 in the morning, and like Brian Ortega was talking about how hard it is for him at his size to cut that weight, and it's a difficult thing. You know what I mean? And I think for that reason, because it'll take a lot out of him, unless Bobby's prediction comes true and they, do the hey, can you do me a favor and just like keep on 6 pounds for me? Like, can we do that? Is that cool? But so for me, once again, man, brain will tell me right now, forget it, bro. Brian Ortega's not going to win this one. It's all Diego Lopez. My heart is going to tell me Brian Ortega. So let's go with the brain. Let's say Diego Lopez, and let's say by decision, like split decision too. I'm not thinking about nothing else. I'm thinking this is going to touch the mat at least a little bit, but I feel like somehow, some way, this is going to be one of those let me feel you out fights, and they're going to be looking to take the other one out. But these are such. Brian Ortega's shown he has a chin, and Diego Lopez shows that he's not afraid of anything. But I think for the matter of fact of the young up and coming fighter, I think Lopez takes this one, bro.
Yeah, I could totally see Ortega struggling in the first round and Diego having a lot of success, Ortega surviving, and then taking the next 2.
He's a slow starter.
It's just a 3-round fight.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Ortega in a 3-round fight, he is a slow starter historically. And I feel like the pace pushing of Lopez is going to outweigh it, but it'll still end up somehow in a split decision you know, and it might just because of how the pace is going to might just get pushed very early.
You could see Lopez winning round 1, and then Diego or Ortega winning round 2, and then the third round being 1-1 going into the third would be
right. Something like that. I really feel like that. So you hit the nail on the head, bro.
Man, so you're going with Diego too?
Yeah, man, I'm going Diego too.
Okay. Man, like Diego is such.
Did you just switch your pick, or am I like tripping? You said
I thought he said earlier he's picking with his head, with his heart.
Not my heart. Pick with my head, not my heart.
Okay. I'll probably pick with my head and my heart here. I'm so like this Diego Lopez. Like, I mean, the My Chemical Romance. I mean, I feel like that's what needs to come out to. When I was a young boy, my father took me to a UFC show. I mean, like the kid is so good to do. Like everybody give Dan Ige a lot of credit for taking a fight on 24 notice, like 12-hour notice or whatever it was. Diego Lopez did it like 2 times over. Like, you know, said yet I'll go up weight, like fight Ortega.
12 minutes notice.
Yeah. He was just like in the bathroom and his phone rang. Hey, you want to fight tonight?
I'm at 145. Oh, they want me to fight Ortega at 155. Sure, I'll fight him at 155. Oh wait, never mind. It's not Ortega. How about you fight Dan Ige at 155? Sure, bring in Dan Ige, and he still beat Dan Ige. So. Like he's on a 4-fight winning streak. This kid is fantastic. I think he's got all the tools. I really do think he could be a player in this division. Fight for the title. I don't know about winning it, but definitely could be a guy who fights for the title in the near future, especially if he beats Brian Ortega. Ortega's like 2 or 3.
Well, one thing I left out and completely overglossed because I've been talking about it through all the other events, like because like the way Dana was talking about how the movie played, it starts with the old and then it goes to, you know,
the new,
kind of the modern, and then it goes to the like present. And I think he is like the fight placement is like pretty much key to that it's pretty much going to show him. And with the scenario laid out for him, imagine how big he gets with a victory on this stage. He's already had such an insane year as is. I mean, I know a lot of the times fighters of the years go to like active champions and stuff like that, but he'd have an easy case because realistically, he'd probably get one more in by the year being done too. And once he gets this one, he's going to just keep climbing. So, you know, I think everything is like the UFC is pretty much giving him the keys, and will he take advantage of that moment? And every other time he has, but you know, Ortega loves to play spoilers, so this is going to be a great fight.
Listen,
yeah, this is his.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
So almost just a little over a year since August 5th of last year of 23. This is his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th fight. I mean, so like the guy has been on it. Like fought at UFC 300, fought at UFC 303, fought at UFC 295. He did have a fight night back in August 5th, but since then, like he's been on it. Like we applaud Alex Pereira for his activity, but Diego Lopez this is his, like I said, his 3rd fight this year, 4th fight in a calendar year.
And he did tough.
Yeah.
And he's coaching for a world title fight. Like, just imagine what that experience will do for him when he actually gets to that moment.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's, you know, like I said, they're setting him up to be the next, you know, biggest thing. And honestly, think about it in hindsight, they'll probably have him headline next year's Noche.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or he's definitely going to be a headliner. His next fight, if he wins this, he's headlining like a place, like somewhere. You know what I mean? Like a main event. He's a main event after this for sure. Give me Diego Lopez, baby. Oh man, I was thinking Diego Lopez versus Arnold Allen if he wins this fight. Even if he loses, like that would be That'd be a fun one. I like those
Listen,
guys.
I want to say this. I want to say this. If somehow an arm triangle or a guillotine or like a leg triangle or arm bar gets thrown in this fight, let's see if it's from which fighter is coming from, whether it be Diego or whether it be from my guy T City, because these are some nasty submissions that both of them are capable of, you know. But like once again, I'm going to stick in the realm of a split decision for Lopez, but I would not be surprised if somebody gets subbed and the fight ends fast. I wouldn't.
If we set an over/under for submission attempts, I'd probably set it like 4.5, and I'd probably bet the over.
Ooh,
I like that. 4.5, and then mess around and it'd be 5. Yeah, I like that.
The fifth one gets somebody who it'll be.
Yeah. The fifth one catches somebody.
The co-main event. It's finally here. The trilogy is finally done. They fought a year ago at UFC Noche, and it came to a draw. That was the second time. Before that, they fought in March of 2023. Valentina was the champion. Grasso taps her out in the fourth round, ending the wild wild reign that was Valentina's, the long reign that was Valentina's. Grasso then runs it right back. They get a draw. Most people tell you Valentina won. It was a bad judge, but here we are after it all. We settle it all finally on Saturday night. Alexa Grasso, the reigning champion versus the reigning featherweight champion or flyweight champion, versus the legend that is Valentina Shevchenko. Whit, I'll start with you. Who do you like winning this trilogy?
All right.
Let me get out the odds real quick. Grasso is the favorite at -140, so the champ is the favorite. Valentina is the dog at +120.
All right. So once again, big shouts out to Tapology.com, one of my places I go get all my information from. So it's looking real crazy right now. So they got their community picks up as of right now. 1,268 people voted, and 69% are going Grasso by decision. All right. So I'm thinking that's kind of where once again this is. I think me and Bobby was saying it last time. I watched Tough. I watched it. I was intrigued by the difference in coaching style. You know what I'm saying? I was somehow paying attention to Team Bullet and this and like, is this what they really do when it's time for a match? Somehow, some way, when it comes,
Valentina ain't drinking no water with no water.
Yeah, listen. When it comes down to it, Valentina Shevchenko is putting a little bit more spice into her training than Alexa Grasso. Alexa Grasso was like, no, we're in Vegas. We're going to run. It's the desert. Put on a jacket. We're going, and that's it. Alexa Grasso was like, we're going to go in a helicopter. I'm going to take you to shoot guns. It's going to be fun. No, it was all business for Team Grasso. And in reality, this may be the end of the trilogy. This is it. There's no more. After Grasso wins this one, I'm basically going to go ahead and rock with Team Grasso on this one. I'm looking for another submission, to be honest. I think Shevchenko's going to try and counteract everything she did, which to a degree, it looked good until she got caught, which is normally how it goes in the UFC. But for me, right now, I gotta go with Grasso on this one. And Shevchenko's a star. In period. Let's not get it twisted. Without her,
a legend.
Without her in the flyweight division, we wouldn't have a flyweight division. I think I've said that before. But it's time to pass the torch. It's unfortunate that we we have to see her take a L multiple times for her to get the point. But I think this is it. What I'm saying? Valentina Shevchenko, Team Bullet, everything she's about, I really do appreciate. But right now, it's Alexa Grasso's time. And I got to go straight up right now. And still, flyweight champion, Alexa Grasso, ladies and gentlemen.
Bobby?
I don't want to rehash all of my disdain for Tough, but what I will say about it is it did zero to sell me on this fight.
Nothing.
All it did was
Yeah.
make me ask, why do we have to do this again? I understand they did a draw, but it's we're doing it again. And I think both these ladies know each other very well. And guess what? I think this fight is going to end in a draw.
A draw?
I'm not even kidding. I think we get another draw because
And
they know
still.
each other so well. Yeah, Alexa Grasso will retain the title. And if we were picking, if I was picking one, I probably would lean towards Alexa there. But it's kind of going to be all about what happens in that third round. Those championship rounds will be the true deciding thing, but we'll kind of have an idea of where it's going and who's going to possibly be behind or not. But I think they know each other so well that there's a pretty good chance that they cancel each other out and it ends up being a draw. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe we get the Shogun Lyoto 2 effect, and we get a first round finish because of this. Because, they know each other so well, and they're like, all right, it's just round 6. But, I know we make picks here, so that technically isn't a pick. So if you make me pick someone, I'll pick Alexa. But I legitimately think this is, if you have DraftKings, see what the odds are for it to end in a draw. It's probably plus 5,000.
Man, I was just looking at Valentina's record, and before that loss, she had won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh shit!
She was the boogie woman in her division.
10. She had won 10 in a row, all title fights, right? Well, no, she's been in
dance every time, and all the women. I used to watch all those women on the floor looking up at her.
This is her 12th title fight. Counting the Amanda Nunes that went split decision way back in the day in 2017, and when she lost to Amanda. Then she fought Priscilla. Then she beat Joanna Jacek. And then it was just a run after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 wins in a row. And so she had won 10 till she lost to Grasso, which was a title fight. She has been there and done that. She is the bullet. Father Time does catch up with everybody. She got caught the first time, and then the second time she kind of did win that. She did win the second fight. It was a bad judge. Everybody knows that she won the second fight.
Correct.
Can she do it again? How much is that going to be in her brain? I feel like she is the person. She has said, I don't want this to go to the judges. She's 36. Grasso is 31. Grasso is no slouch. I mean, she's 16-3 and got the 1 decision. Before, looking at her record, she hasn't lost since she lost to Carla Esparza way back in 2019 by, and since then she's been on a tear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, and then the decision. Both these ladies have been in some wars, but it's Diocho, and I'm going to go and still UFC flyweight champion of the world, Alexa Grasso.
And one last point on this fight. What happens if Valentina wins? Are they going to run this back in a year?
No, it's over. The trilogy is over. They're not going to do it a 4th time. They're not Moreno and Figgy here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and they did Moreno and Figgy too much.
That's what I'm saying. They'll use UFC Noche to sell us the fourth fight.
I know. No. Please no.
Like
we don't need
it. If Valentina wins,
she puts the gloves down.
A Weili super fight.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
If Valentina wins, the Weili super fight would be cool. But I think, and this is just me, a lot of what I saw from watching Tough, because I had recorded on YouTube TV. I would watch it at night when there was nothing else on. A lot of what I saw looks like those things you see from a lot of the male fighters when it's time for it to be over. You know, they're a little softer. They got stuff. They're talking about their coaches. The coaches are looking like other coaches, just like we're seeing with Diego Lopez in this fight. I think if Valentina wins, and it's out of respect, there's nobody else she needs to test herself for. So somehow, some way, she gives it a long kiss goodnight and ends the career right there. Puts the gloves down in the biggest venue, most decorated venue ever. Puts the gloves down, calls it a day, and says thank you, good night, and does a little dance thing one last time. Puts the gloves down, spins around, and walks out. Bam.
I will fully support that because that will piss Dana White the fuck off. So
if she wins or loses, if she wins or loses, you think she's done?
Maybe. And seriously, if she loses though, I don't know, dog. If she loses, I don't know. But because she looks like she was ready to, pass the torch. There were no women in this season of Tough, but she looks like she's ready to do the next step in her evolution of MMA fighting, which could be coaching. It wasn't like she was a bad coach. I felt like just her approach was a little wayward for what we're used to seeing on Tough, and to a degree that was obviously played out because, Grasso's guys were basically in both of the matches whooping ass, except for what's my guy from the wrestler that won. But either way, yeah, if you look back at the UFC, the Apex from 2 weeks ago, you'll see that her fighters were a little more prepared for their match than Shevchenko. But to each his own. And I wish her the best in whatever her next endeavor is as as a champion and a future Hall of Famer.
We'll see what happens.
We just wrote her obituary. Now she's gonna win. That's fucking like what is gonna.
I need an Undertaker button. That's what I need.
Well, let's get into the main event here. UFC Noche. You couldn't offer a better main event for Mexican Independence Day presented by Riyadh Season than ever have. Sean O'Malley versus Merab. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. Dwavashvili. O'Malley, we know 18-1. The one loss he's already avenged. Merab is on like a 7-fight winning streak, I believe. He's 17-4. I do want to get his perfect. Let's see how many wins he's got here. He hasn't lost since 2018, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fight winning streak.
Sheesh.
So, Merab is. What were you saying, Bobby?
And like O'Malley, I don't know if this is like intentional or what, but that last loss he had, Merab pretty much says that's bullshit, and he got fucked in that. So I don't know if he's like playing up to the O'Malley thing of, oh no, that's not a loss. But I noticed he's kept bringing it up in the interviews. So
O'Malley is the champ, is the favorite here. It's close. It's minus 130. Merab is the dog at plus 110. Bobby, we'll start with you in the main event.
Yeah. This one's really tough, but I feel like we kind of already have a very small, even though we do, but we have a sample size of this fight. Knowing that they're Aljo and him and Aljo are training partners. So full disclosure for the O'Malley Aljo fight, I pick Aljo. I thought it was pretty much a matter of time till he was going to able to get a hold of him. Didn't know if he'd be able to get back up. because Aldo's so good at getting the back. But then time happened. O'Malley obviously got that win. Apparently did it with training for no grappling. A lot of time has gone by, and I think he's gotten significantly better because it's not like he's working on his striking at all. He's got that all pretty much dialed in. He's working on his grappling. Up until Merab fought Henry Cejudo, I thought it was just a matter of time. I figured, Merab will eventually get the title shot and he'll eventually be champion. But Cejudo was able to, land that uppercut, which, rocked Merab in the first round. And I thought, if Henry actually wasn't so hesitant, he could have tried to push for a finish, but he was very stood off. And on the feet, it's, Sugar's striking is far more better than Merab.
Way more, like 1,000.
Like just watching the first round of Cejudo and Henry, it's like, well, granted, he was doing that mainly because the wrestling offset to get everything going. And obviously after that bad first round, he recovered and was just pushing the pace for those 2 rounds. And imagine if that fight was 5 rounds. He maybe could have finished him. But the reason I keep going back to Sugar here is with it being 25 minutes, I think that leaves 25 minutes for O'Malley to find an opening. I think he will be able to get up. If he won't be able to, it'll obviously be a very short night or maybe a very long night, depending on how Merab does the fight. But as of right now, I think this is O'Malley's next chance to ascend into that guy type level aura, especially at the Sphere. And, I just question if Merab will be wild in the beginning or not. Because in the Henry fight, in that first round, he was wild.
Yeah, he usually wild. He comes out kind of.
I'm gonna probably be sticking with and still here and going with O'Malley.
Whit?
Oh man! So one of the things I was going to bring up earlier, right? I want to know how they're going to do the Bruce Buffer intros because every time they do that's one of my favorite parts, and then the lights flash and blah blah blah. If you watch UFC, when it's the main event, it's 2 different types of lighting, special spectaculars that happen.
That's gonna be dope in the Sphere.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be dope in there, and especially with Sean O'Malley and the different color hair, they're probably gonna do some crazy colors on the wall. And
how did I not think of that?
With O'Malley, they're probably gonna do some crazy colors on the ceiling, on the wall. With Merab, they're gonna do like the fuzzy hat all over the wall or something like that. It's gonna look weird. I can't wait to see what they do for the main event. In the aspect of what they're gonna do in the Sphere. So gotta put that one on. But this is another one. Brain and heart are not in agreement. Let's keep it funky. Okay. I'm just read these names off, and you guys know what I'm reading, but the audience may not. Okay, here go several names, and these people are pretty freaking good. Jose Aldo, Peter Yan, Henry Cejudo. Okay, and then somewhere in there we got Marlon Moraes, then Cody Stanman. Okay, these are all people that somehow randomly got ragdolled by Merab Dvalishvili. Okay, and the Henry Cejudo fight, as you mentioned earlier, when you said he went in there wild, he literally picked this man up over to the table and damn near licked his back and in front of everybody commentating and said, "Yeah, this is the Olympic champion. This guy, come on!" Like I
that was after he got hit with that uppercut. Though.
Which is my point. He took Cejudo's best shot and was like, "Okay, I'm good now because I know that's your best shot. This is what we got." I think if he can take whatever O'Malley has in the very first 1 or 2 rounds, he's going to turn it into a boring fight, which speaks to his smarts. If he's not, I mean, I don't think he's dumb. You know, all of the promo stuff, they're talking. He's like, I knock people out too. Ah, ha, ha. You know, all his TikTok videos. He's knocking. Yeah, all the TikTok videos. He's knocking, you know, dummies out with the colorful hair. I think that's a play on that he will do what he does best, and he will try to out wrestle Sean O'Malley. I was looking at the stats. O'Malley's takedown defense is crazy in the last 3 fights. And you know, as I look at it, bam. So we're gonna say these names, of course. We gotta go. You know, Marlon Vera, you know, Cheeto Vera, Aljamain, Peter Yan. Like, let's just say Aljamain and Peter Yan.
Two of those guys aren't wrestlers. Like, Cheeto didn't try to take him down, and neither did Peter. Really,
yeah, no, not Cheeto. Not Cheeto in an aspect, but Peter Yan and Aljamain. This is where we got to see O'Malley kind of evolve, if you will, in my opinion, and this will be another evolution in the fight game for me. So it's unfortunate that I think this one will not make it to all 5 rounds. I don't think so. I think this one will end just a little bit before, like somewhere in the 4th. Somebody's either getting caught or the TKO, the choke happens. And I gotta think, and I'm gonna tell y'all this straight up. Whichever way this fight goes, I think it's gonna happen twice. Whichever way it goes, I think it's gonna happen twice. That's how close it's gonna be. So for me, right now, if I gotta pick, and it's not because of any bias or anything crazy, if I gotta pick one guy, I gotta go. And no, because somehow, some way, in my opinion, if we get one of those 3, 4, 5 round grapple, get you on the ground, hold your legs, drag you against the fence, point, take you out of your comfort zone matches, which I think Merab is capable of, and Sean O'Malley is not necessarily capable of continuously getting off the. You got to get off the mat. If he can get off the mat 3, 4 rounds, he'll prove me wrong. But I'm thinking this is a let you think we're gonna stand and bang. Nope, single leg, double leg, single leg, double leg again, ankle sweep. I'm taking you to the mat, and we're gonna go add new. It's gonna be Merab, but we're gonna see it again in a bigger venue. Okay, we're gonna see this one again in a bigger venue, but right now, I think Merab gets it.
If Merab loses, we won't ever see Merab back in a title fight ever again.
You think?
I don't think we see this again, no matter what.
Yeah,
I think Umar's on deck, and he's coming in the cage for whoever the winner is, because they're going to use the sphere to their advantage to promote that fight.
Oh yeah,
especially if it's O'Malley and him.
Yeah.
Listen, James Earl Jones just died. Just imagine if they play the Coming to America music. And Kamaru Usman comes into the ring, full kente cloth down, full Nigerian hat wear, and stands in the ring with the Coming to America music and says, "Yeah, you next." I like Merab and Kamaru.
Not Kamaru, Umar. Kamaru's
I like Merab and Umar. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see who's really real with that one. But once
let me close out with this, and then I'll go to you for your pick, Buckets. So like the main reason that I'm also picking this is I think O'Malley essentially is training for this fight twice already. Like, this is a camp he's already done.
Yeah.
The similarities with Aljo and Merab are.
You could say the same thing about Merab's camp, though, too. You know what I mean? They've trained for O'Malley twice.
Right.
And that's a negative, in my opinion, because how good did they do in the first? Like, the fact that, like, O'Malley, no grappling.
Yeah.
Into that fight. Like, if Aljo knew that, who knows? Maybe he did, and maybe that's why he like reached in. But you know, I just really think with how it's kind of all gonna like play out with, granted, if it goes past the second, probably Marab is wearing the pace, and then it's, oh, can Sean, you know, recover from this? But if essentially all he has to do is get up, I think he's game for 25 minutes because I do not think Marab can finish him. I think he will put on the pace, but not finish him.
So let me I'm gonna say that every time I watch Marab, I'm like, man, that guy could be a future champ. Like that pace is incredible. Like he has like a gas tank like nobody can believe in. But then like I look at his record, and this guy has one finish his whole time in the UFC. Everything else decision. The last person he finished was Marlon Moraes, and Marlon was finished already in his career at that point in time, way back in 2021. Like it's just like O'Malley is an absolute sniper, and like Marab, even when he puts people on the ground, he can't get a finish. Like he couldn't finish Henry Cejudo, couldn't finish Peter Yan. It was just pressure, take him down, wrestle, take him down, wrestle, repeat, rinse, and I'm going to win the decision. The problem is none of those guys have the length and size of Sugar Sean O'Malley. None of those guys are the striking acumen of Sugar Sean O'Malley.
I agree.
Sugar Sean O'Malley is one of the best strikers in the UFC. I would love to watch him and Max go at it. Him and Ilya go at it. I think that's possible if he wins this and maybe beats Umar. I got, and you are what you say you are, a superstar, so have no fear. The crowd is here and the lights are on and they want to know. And still, UFC a better way to champion of the world. Sugar Sean O'Malley, baby.
Yeah, and just imagine that entrance. Too.
I know, dude. I can't wait.
I
don't think he's walking Sean out, but he might as well have been. That's how gangster that.
Mess around. They got a Lupe Fiasco video. They're gonna play in the sphere that they personally made just for that night, bro. I mean that.
Yeah.
And I think they'll probably keep it real plain for the rest of the card, but the electrifying part about Sean O'Malley, like,
is that entrance? Is that
okay? If it was another card, I would have loved to see an Israel Adesanya entrance at the Sphere.
Yeah,
you know, somebody that would do something, you know, to catch my eye coming out. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with Sean O'Malley, and I'm 100% excited about this fight for sure.
Before we get out of here, I don't know if you mentioned it off the top of the show, but we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the retirement of Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson, a GOAT in this game, Mount Rushmore, wherever you want to put him at. He is the absolute, perfection of that is mixed martial arts. Put down the gloves, retired it. Well, he didn't really put down the gloves, I guess, but has officially retired, which we all kind of knew, but we didn't need. We got the final send off last Friday at the one. Bobby, you got any thoughts about the one that is Mighty Mouse?
I'm glad he got to go out on his own terms for sure. I mean, we're kind of conditioned to seeing them retire in the cage. I'm kind of glad how he did it. He mulled it over with his family and said, is this right? A big part of me does kind of wonder, was he sick of one shit? And this is why he did it. He's not really the type to shit on another company unless it's the UFC. So, which is justified for sure. I do find it funny that all of a sudden Dana is calling him like a first ballot Hall of Famer, which obviously he is, but
Nobody's defended that guy more than me.
I mean, I
Right?
don't think he like understands how the internet works. Like there's certain like, you know, once it's on there, you can't.
Ooh.
And you know, I am glad he is finally getting the recognition he deserved, because everyone always just kind of used to shit on flyweight and stuff. And if you haven't seen fight, I would definitely recommend going back and checking some of those out, because you know, he was a big part of the sport, and I have no problem with people having him in their Mount Rushmore. I think that's justified, especially if you want to go like the clean route and all that. And he's just a good guy to root for, you know?
Yeah.
So it's but you know, it for him, you're kind of interested to see what's next. I'd assume he'd still like do those gi tournaments and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
he said he is.
I do wonder, it's like, you know, he went on his own terms like that. Will there be a scenario where he gets back in there? I think he contemplated it long enough to where he won't do it. But, you know, what is the whole segment been is that money talks. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But, yeah, hell of a career. And I'm glad he got to do it with his family being there, too. If it was in, like, you know, overseas or something, they wouldn't have been there. So it's a nice little moment for them. And, you know, serves one right for stripping Mikey Musumeci.
Yeah. Glad Mighty Mouse, he was the guy that did it the right way. You know, perfect. I would say to me, won that trade of Ben Askren versus Mighty, you know, the Mighty Mouse trade.
The only argument you could make for why it helped them was because of Masvidal.
Yeah,
like you got, at least you got the Masvidal star power off that.
Yeah.
Because I'll still remember when I watched him walk out, and I was at a bar watching that fight, and you know, the Scarface music, and it's like, oh, you know, he's only got one shot until he's on his back.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like, so hey, I bet if you asked Dana White, he would have revisionist history, be like, oh, we never should have done that trade. But who knows? Someone should ask him on Saturday at the post-fight presser.
Yeah, you know, because nobody has you know, backed Mighty Mouse more than him.
You guys still talking about you
got any final thoughts on Mighty Mouse before we get out of here?
Okay, all right. Two things, not Mighty Mouse, but I got to say this, right? On the other side of Las Vegas, right? La extravaganza de una noche en Mexico con Conel. La MGM Grand Las Vegas. That's right, everybody. Y'all know what time it is. We got to talk some boxing, so we're going to talk it real fast. So once again, we got Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga straight out of the Bronx. Edgar Berlanga going in there trying to go for the big check. Everybody knows Canelo Alvarez is out here in the streets going, I am not talking to Turkey Al Sheikh, but guess what? Turkey Al Sheikh is less than 14 blocks away at the Sphere, having the biggest promotion in Las Vegas by far monetarily. But of course, the MGM Grand is saying right now that the ticket sales for the Canelo fight will exceed the UFC fight. I remember Bobby talking about a week or so ago that the UFC was cutting ticket prices down so that they could have more people. So the MGM Grand is already going ham, talking, you know, basically bigging up the event. But on the card, this will be something that we have to watch. I don't know if you're streaming it. I don't know if you're going to be pirating it. I don't know if you're going to watch it at your friend's house, but you're going to need 2 TVs, because by the time it's 12 o'clock, we're going to need to see what's going to happen between these fights. Also on the card, we got my guy, one of the dopest, coolest white guys who box ever. Don't see him behind any closed doors. Don't see him, you know, backstage or anything, because he will slap you. I'm talking about Caleb Plant. One time for Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumbee. McCumbee is actually up and coming, but Caleb Plant ain't seeing nobody and taking no losses. So on the card, we got Erslandi Lara and Danny Garcia. My guy Danny Garcia, 37-3, looking to regain a stance with the WBA World Middleweight title fight. This is actually crazy. It's the co-main. I'm looking for Danny Garcia in this one, but then right there at the top of the card, Ring Magazine, WBC, WBA, WBO World Super Middleweight title fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. Oh my God, it's got to go crazy. I'm going to tell everybody this right now. I don't know what I'm going to be watching, but I'm hoping that the UFC card does not interfere with this Edgar Berlanga Canelo Alvarez, because this one is extra spicy, and it's not just because it's Mexican night. Okay, no, this is actually real spice we got going on. Once again, somehow, some way, Canelo has gone in there and said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna teach Berlanga to some respect for Caleb Plant, and then when I'm done, Caleb, you can have him." I love that. So somewhere in there, we're really going to see what happens this coming weekend with the two fights, the ones that really mean something, especially with the title fights at the top of the card. Super excited about it, but I gotta watch the UFC. I gotta watch this. I'm gonna have to put my laptop on my lap and then have the TV on, and then put my beer and my liquor on the table at the same time. I don't know. I'm gonna be multitasking, but once again, I'm excited to see it this weekend. MGM Grand, Las Vegas. One time for Canelo, who is once again trying to duck Turkey Al-Sheikh, but we are going to be watching La Extravaganza de una noche in Mexico.
What's your interest level? I'll ask both of you guys, because both of you guys are more boxing than I am. What's your interest level in this Canelo card? Because I don't really have a whole lot of interest with, because I know this isn't the guy that he's really supposed to be fighting.
The whole point is, if this turns out to be another Canelo butt whooping, okay, this is when he gets out of the ring. He takes a month. He actually takes Turkey Al-Sheikh's call, who supposedly from the get-go in Terrence Crawford's last fight was sent the information concerning a Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez grand unification bout, where Terrence Crawford will go up to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. This whole fight that Terrence Crawford took last month was basically a tester to see how well he can put on weight and take on a larger opponent. They're basically the same size and stature, but if you give Canelo the opportunity to bulk up in weight, water weight, then Canelo is a larger man size-wise. You know what I mean? But Terrence Crawford, fight-wise, knowledge-wise, skill set-wise, is almost very – I don't want to say that they're evenly matched, but this is as evenly matched as it gets between the two. In my opinion, the exciting will the fight be? No, because neither one of these guys is somebody you want to see get knocked out. Nah, this will be a pugilist fight. They're going to play chess. It's going to be 12, 13 rounds of peppering, and we're going to see what happens if it really does take place. But then that's the only big fight to make besides what we're going to see in December, when we finally see the heavyweights rematch with Usyk and Fury. Sorry, I had to fit all that in at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Canelo is going to wash him. I am going to be watching this, but I am not going to be watching it live. My plan for the Sphere is to watch the Sphere. I don't want anything distracting me from any of those visuals. So because of that, I'm not really concerned about it overlapping, because I plan on watching it later, just because, and I think it's kind of genius by Dana doing this, because the best part of this card is the visuals. And if you're going back and forth between two tablets, you're already worried about missing a knockout. Then you're gonna miss this. So it gets put on the back burner for me. I am excited about the card itself, but I think the main event is a travesty, personally.
Really? You give Berlanga no chance?
Respectfully, no, not at all. He might win a round or something like that, but Bakken said it best. This isn't who he's supposed to be fighting. I understand that he's like at a stature where he's only going to take certain fights because he's earned that. But, you know, with other game in town and stuff, like if I'm in Vegas, I mean, granted, the price might make my decision different, but I mean, I'm going to that one-off event because Canelo is just going to pull this shit again when he doesn't want to fight Benavidez. So it's for me,
Benavidez?
like that's what I want. Like I would love to see Crawford and Canelo, but I really want Turkey to pull out the checkbook for the Benavidez fight more. I know we won't get them both, so we have to choose one. But I think that's Canelo's biggest problem, to say the least. Even though I'm very high on Bud, and I think people are counting Bud out way too prematurely because of his last fight. And but all that being said, it's like there's still anticipation of what's going to happen in the UFC main event. I don't have any of that in this Canelo fight. And I mean, granted, maybe if like I could get more behind the upset, it'd be more to like tune into. But I have no problem just like blacking out the social media and just rewatching, the boxing card in full. Because I'm just worried, like with the visuals of the Sphere, it's gonna fuck over my viewing experience.
You might miss something. I get it. Well, we'll be here next week, next Wednesday, to kind of talk about all those visuals, the fights, the boxing, the MMA. Will it be Ann Steele? Will it be Ann Nude? Will it be Van Shevchenko or Merab? We'll be back next week right here. This has been another great episode of Head Kicks and Haymakers. For Bobby, for Whit, I'm Bodkins. We'll catch you guys later. Good night, good fights. Hopefully all the bets hit, and hopefully the Sphere delivers. That's what I want to see. Hopefully
we are getting another Sphere too. Dan is a fucking liar. There's no way they're gonna do like these record gates and like be a one-off. Like they'll bring it back just like the fucking DMF title. I guarantee it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no way we're not getting another one, especially if Turkey Al Sheikh opens up the bank.
I love it. You guys are so great.
All right, see you guys next week.
All right.